Oh, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Nice to look out and see you all. Oh, well, you know, I'm Norma, the minister here at Unity, and we're really glad to have all of you here with us this morning because it's always an important morning, but there's just been a lot of events in our community this week that we're recognizing and holding one another close as people have gone from the visible to the invisible. I want to announce that Nancy Hawthorne is having a memorial service for her son, Mario, at the Talent Park at 6:30 today. So if you can attend that, that would be wonderful to give Nancy support. She's been a long-time member of our community, and her dear son passed away this past week. Other announcements? Anybody have another announcement that you'd like?
We need help at the end to pack up and do the tables in the next couple of Sundays. If anyone could just stay, that would really be helpful.
Yeah, last time we had people raise your hands and say, could you stay? Could people be willing to raise their hands right now? Oh, great.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, Patty?
Norma, there's prayer circle meeting in the back room Mondays at 5 o'clock. And there's a box on the table back here, the prayer box. If you have a prayer request, please fill out the request, and then we will share the prayer on Monday, and then also send that on to Silent Unity, where it will be prayed over for an entire month, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We get to witness miracles all the time. It is a true blessing. And you're also welcome to join us if you want. That's tomorrow evening or afternoon late, 5 o'clock in the back room.
That's great, Patty. Thanks for reminding everybody of that, because the prayer group is so powerful, and it is welcome to all of you to attend it. Another announcement is that Cecilia St. King is going to be here next week, and I'm really excited about that. She's a peace troubadour who's traveled all over the United States singing at big events and small gatherings of people who want to feel the presence of spirit and of peace. So she'll be here next week, so tell people about it and spread the word. Say hi, raise your hand. Oh, it's there.
She's a wonderful musician, and I get to play with her too.
Another announcement is that July 23rd in the afternoon, so that's just a couple of Sundays away, we're having an open house that we're not advertising it hugely publicly, but I want you all to know, up at the Circle of Trust, because we're opening a spa for the public. And so I'd love it if you could come. We're going to have sweat lodge and different kinds of spa treatments for free, and Gary Malkin will be here that Sunday. He'll be here at Unity in the morning, and then he'll be up there playing the grand piano up there and singing in the great hall there. So it'll be a beautiful Sunday from morning through the evening. So mark that, 23rd on your calendars. Up at the Circle of Trust. What is the Circle of Trust? Oh, it is up in the hills outside of town, and if you need to know, we'll give you directions. Let's see, any other announcements? Any other announcements? Okay. Let's not forget to turn off your cell phones, and as I see that little one running in, I think we could go ahead and do. That song's a great lead into our theme today, which is practicing the presence of God. Within that, I have 3 sub-themes: rejoice, remember, and renew. Sometimes we need to make a course correction in our lives, or at least in our thinking and perceptions, a course correction for our resurrection, we might say. Just saying, we don't have to welcome God to get here. We have to get here, because God's already here. In any particular moment, we just have to open up our receptors, right? So sometimes we say, oh, please, God, please come here. But really, no, it's just, we've got to adjust to the fact that the presence of the divine is really here. We never have to really beg for it. We just have to affirm God's presence. We don't do invocation, really. We evoke the presence. We practice the already presence. And we help each other to do that by coming together and feeling it together. Our purpose here at Unity is that, I heard this week from Agape, and I love it, and I'd love to adopt it for us because it fits so well. See if you agree with me that our purpose here is that we are an intentional spiritual community, and we meet here each week to be a living environment for individuals to realize that they are unique emanations of God, the love intelligence of the universe that's here all the time. We embody an understanding of ourselves with God, and we consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. We embody it, and then we consciously practice it. Through the New Thought Ageless Wisdom teachings and the energy of unconditional love, we are committed to individual transformation and to being a collective container of this high energy vibration so that people can come here and be reminded of who they really are. Simply put, we're only here for God. You like that? Isn't that a great statement? So let's go into our wonderful first song, and I'm so excited today to have our wonderful Heather and Richard and Donna as usual, but Heather is also, for some of the songs, bringing some of you that sing with her during the week. So we're so glad to have all of you here for our songs this morning.
Yeah, we have a group called Arise Voice Tribe, but I just kind of sprung this on them like 2 days ago. Hey, how about we sing something with Unity? And so only a few of us are here today, and later on they're going to come up here and sing with me. But for now, we're just going to kind of sing together some of the songs. So I really love this song, as many of you do. And some of you others have sung this with me. It's called Listen. It's by a woman named Meredith Buck. And she wrote this song when she was on a retreat. And part of the retreat was they were blindfolded and had to walk, hands and knees. I think the last part of the retreat was doing that across the river. And the only way they knew where to go and how to cross the river was the sound of the drums on the other side. So it's this fairly simple 3-part chant that we're all going to sing. And the first part is simply the words listen. Listen, right? So you can take that to listen in many ways. Listen to the cell phone. Please turn off the cell phone. Airplane mode is the best. So it's not searching for signals. That was great timing. And then the second part, listen. Let your body be your God. Let the waters decide. Lose yourself in the meantime. And then the last part, you'll hear drums enter from somewhere out there. It's a surprise. Lay yourself down on the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. I just forgot. Lay yourself down on the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lose yourself. Is that? So just kind of listen in the beginning and then join me. Listen. Listen. Listen, 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 everybody, listen, listen, listen. Listen, we're going to build those parts. So over here on this side, you're going to start with that first part and just keep singing it, okay? And then right about here in the middle, you're going to come on the second part and keep singing it. And then you guys over there are going to come in with the third part, keep singing it. And we have some beautiful three-part harmony. Everybody ready? Let's wait for the turnaround and then we'll start here.
About practicing the presence of God, of Spirit. We can't help but practice it while we're together. So I'd love to lead us now in a meditation. And Richard and Donna, it'd be great to have the piano music and the flute music behind it. Oh, so listen, relax. Just close your eyes if you'd like to. And settle into just being here. Peaceful, deep body breathing. Listen to your body. You're going to be both relaxed and alert. Beware of the sounds, beautiful sounds coming and going. Be aware of the sensations in your body. Noticing anything that's particularly tense. Take a deep breath and release that tension. Being mindful of any distracting thoughts. Notice that they can just drift out of your mind. You can bring your focus back to the sound, music, and your breath. Breathing deeply. Feel your hips on the chair, grounding yourself. Feel your feet on the floor. And form an intention for your meditation. Perhaps with words, you're setting some intention for yourself right now, or without words. Maybe you'd like to imagine yourself being very focused, a very focused person. Maybe you'd like to imagine yourself being the Buddha, being the Christ, being the Mary Magdalene. Picture yourself aligning with a being who's very focused and very aware. Relax. I hear some of you doing this, but take another big inhalation. A big exhalation. Exhale fully. be vigilant with your attention at the same time. Have the music just fade out now as we go into a deeper silence. Sinking now deeper to a deeper place for the next few minutes. Stay present with each breath from its beginning to its end. Breathing in, gracefully breathing out. Imagine a little guardian in your mind who is watching your attention and will let you know right away if it starts to wander. So you can give yourself over to each breath and abandon everything else. Let go, just let go of the recent past. Let go of any concerns about later today or the future. And just take this opportunity to be present right here, right now, with each breath. The beginning of each inhalation, pay attention to any sensation in your body, any physical sensation, and relax it. You might draw your attention to the area over your upper lip where the breath, you can feel the breath going into your nostrils, across your upper lip there. Focusing there, you can apply your attention to the inhalation and the exhalation. Sometimes it helps to count your breaths. As you breathe in, you can count 1. And as you breathe out, 2. As you breathe in, 3. And as you breathe out, 4. Just breathing deeply in and out. Your concentration will deepen. Give yourself over to your breath. Breathing in, know that you are breathing in. Breathing out, know that you're breathing out. Allow experiences to come and go without attempting to influence them. Don't influence your breath. Just let it be what it is. Settle into this present moment. As you're just present with your breath, you might notice feelings of a little tingling, a little rapture, or even joy. Open to the bliss. Let it arise. May happiness arise. You can intensify these feelings of rapture or joy. If you want to breathe a little faster, you can experience them. Allow the rushes of bliss to flow through your breath, to flow through your body. As your mind is getting very, very quiet, let your attention be entirely absorbed by your breath. At the upper lip, if thoughts come, let them just pass on by. If you notice any sound, just say, noticing that sound, and let the noticing pass on by. And be in this awareness of the body as a whole. Sense your whole body shifting slightly to be with your breath. You're not moving for or against anything passing through the mind. Just let it pass and relax into this quietness. I'm going to be quiet now and stop speaking and just let your mind come into this single awareness, your breath. pleasant it is to stay here, to dwell together in this harmony. In this silence, we're peaceful and free. Gradually now, we're going to bring this meditation to an end. Gently, gently return from your beautiful tranquility, keeping it with you, this contentment, this subtle happiness, this little taste of rapture, and know that it can be with you all the time. Be gentle with yourself now as you gradually come back into the presence of the ordinary reality and be here in this room. Open your eyes gently, and may this peacefulness and steadiness of mind sink into your being, just become a part of you. May it nurture you and all those around you for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. In the spirit of this grace and this ease, I'd love Donna to come up now and sing one of our favorite songs that just brings these feelings home a little bit more.
This beautiful song was written many years ago for Porky and Bess, and it honors summertime, and it also honors the mama and the papa, as I leave to spend time with my 95-year-old dad and my 92-year-old stepmom. So I'm going to kind of break a rule of jazz improv, and we're going to sing it a little jazzy and open the first time, and the second time I really want you to stand and sing it with me. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy is so rich, and your mama, she's so good looking, child. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. You're gonna spread your wings, you're gonna take to the sky. Oh my, but until that morning, there ain't no one to harm you. With Daddy and me standing by. Everybody up, here we go. And the living is easy. Yeah. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich. Oh, your daddy's rich, and your mama's so good looking. So hush, little baby, don't. You sound gorgeous. You
stay standing for a minute and turn to those around you and just say, I'm so glad you're here today. Oh. That was a surprise, offering, and thank you very much. I think the story, it does fit well with what we're talking about today, because lots of times we're thinking that life's going to go a certain way, and we get pretty attached to that, and then things happen. And those are the moments when it's not so easy to practice the presence of God, when it's not so easy to stay in the meditative, peaceful state. So we've got 3 poems that we'd like to share with you, short poems. And the first one I'll have Marilyn read. She's sitting right there, and she'll read it from there.
Don't surrender your loneliness so quickly. Let it cut more deep. Let it ferment and season you, as few human or even divine ingredients can. Something missing in my heart tonight has made my eyes so soft, my voice so tender, my need of God absolutely clear.
Let that be the angel bells. I guess we need Donna Corso here to remind us more about our cell phones in the very beginning. Sorry about that. This next poem I'll say, and it's from Rumi. And Rumi said, I lived for 100,000 years as a rock. And I was content being a rock. And then I became a plant. And I lived for 10,000 years in the plant kingdom. And I was very content and happy being a plant. And then I died. And I became an animal. And I lived for 1,000 years in the animal world. I tried on all different suits. Loved being an animal. And then I died. And I became a human. Why should I fear my disappearance through death? Next time I shall die bringing forth wings and feathers like angels. And that's soaring higher than angels. I'll become what you can't even imagine. That's what I'll be. Death has never failed me yet. And then Anya has the last word.
These are the words of Mary Oliver. To live in this world, you must be able to do 3 things. To love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it. And when the time comes, to let it go. To let it go.
Say it once more, because it's worth it.
To live in this world, you must be able to do 3 things. To love what is mortal. To hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it. And when the time comes to let it go, to let it go.
Our next song is What Would Water Do? What would water do? Taking inspiration from how we can deal with change and the challenges that come in our lives, to let go. We're going to hear into this song a comforting reminder that we can be like water too.
Yeah, I wrote this several years ago, and Norma said it, looking at how water just changes forms no matter the season. And to use water as inspiration for that in our own lives. What would water do? Freeze and wait till winter turns to something new. What would water do? Rise up high and disappear when it's too hot till it's safe to drop. What would water do? Take the path of least resistance to get through. That's what water would do. Maybe too. Maybe I should too. Rest and chant, this too shall pass. And we all know that nothing lasts. That's nothing new. That's what I could do.
You know, what I realize so clearly is that we are not born, nor do we die. The truth is, we appear and disappear. As the Bhagavad Gita says, wherever a spirit is born, then it shall die. But in truth, you are a deathless, birthless being who has the privilege to appear and disappear here on this planet. Do you feel that? You know that? Always to be more and never less than your true self. You're not a phenomenon. You're a noumena. You're of spirit. Which is another way of saying that you're not an illusory appearance. You're a thought of the creator of spirit. As we peer beneath the surface of the human landscape, we see that humans tend to build their lives on a fundamental fear, the annihilation of our individual self. If we build our lives on a fear of death or the loss of that which we hold dear, then our efforts are built up to avoid that inevitable loss of the human form. The body is temporal, and we are eternal. So we can eradicate the fear of death from our lives by understanding and accepting that we are immortal beings. Your soul already knows that. So are you building your life on faith and not fear? And being receptive to the truth that you are inseparable from life itself? That is a reading from Michael Beckwith. And I had to look for comfort this week and remind myself of these kinds of thoughts because Mario died at a young age. And I've known him all through the years since I first moved here, and I've been on the journey with Nancy of of caring about him and trying to help him. And then also my dear friend was in the hospital this week, and it's been a hard week. So when things happen in life, we've got to revitalize our remembrance that the Spirit of God is ever present, never not being itself, never. And that presence is becoming ever more conscious in us as the life of God in us. The presence of God is knowing itself totally and completely in our life experiences as humans. In this presence and never absence, all of our needs are being met. God is never not being God's self. God is always becoming more conscious of itself. And you know what? That's happening in you. A long time ago when I was in seminary, I read a lot of process theology. And process theology was kind of radical in its day in the 80s. It was saying that God is ever evolving, becoming more and more of God's self. Did you ever think of that before? Do you think of God as a static thing in the universe? No, God is evolving. As our great way showers have said, you are the light. You are the light of God in this world. You are a being of light. So last night there was a full moon. Did any of you see it? And when there's a beautiful full moon like that, I have a ritual of driving out to Emigrant Lake and looking at the light of the full moon coming across the waters. And I was so impressed to notice how it's so flickering. It's so moving, coming and going on the water. So the light is there, but it's in constant motion. So you are the light of the world. There's something like that about you. So this week that phrase came to me, everything is in motion, trust it. Everything is in motion. We've got to awaken to this knowing that that's okay. Jesus the Christ came into the full knowing of this, and he said, I am the Son of God. And he also said, you too, to all the people around him and to us, you too are the children of God. So God is ever evolving and ever growing into something more. Meister Eckhart, the great medieval mystic, said, I love this, God begot but one son. So that, so far we're in agreement with all the evangelical Christians. But then we move on into our mystical realms. But the eternal is forever begetting the only begotten. The eternal is forever begetting the only begotten, and that only begotten is you. You understand? Do you grasp what this means? The power and presence of God in its fullness now, just like it was in the Christ, is in you. We've got to more and more fully embrace this truth as we go through our lives, to become aware on this planet of that truth. Don't you think the planet needs beings who really practice the presence of God that way in ourselves? This planet really needs us to wake up. This eternal begetting of the only begotten eternally, eternal begetting of the only begotten eternally in you. This is an all, it's a truth that comes from the originating mind, we say in New Thought teachings. All ideas stem from the originating mind of God. That's what the mystics all said too. They call it the Godhead. It's funny to picture that, isn't it? The head of God somewhere out there, but you know, the Godhead, the original mind. We have to make ourselves available to this original mind that is eternally birthing us in this moment, in every moment. The invisible presence is becoming present in you. That's what's going on here. The invisible presence of the originating thought of God, the creative energy of the universe, is becoming visible in form. It's birthing in us. As we hold our bodily form so dear and all the forms around us with great love and gratitude, and yet we have to not cling, because we know that we are eternally changing. Eternally on the move in this universe. To come to know this, we've got to practice a certain awareness of God's presence. Otherwise, we do get really attached to form. We've got to grow into realizing that while we're here on earth, Jesus told us we've got to abide. We've got to practice abiding. And don't you think that that's what all Buddhist meditation is about too? It's trying to get us to practice abiding in the presence, abiding in the equanimous equanimity of presence. Humans throughout time have known and practiced this abiding. It isn't just Christians, it isn't just Buddhists even. I was reading that the Celtic tribes, they didn't fear death. And it kind of freaked the Romans out. Because they weren't afraid in battle. They weren't afraid of the Romans conquering of them. We read in Strabo, who was a 1st century Roman historian, he said, the Druids believed that human souls and the universe are indestructible, though at time water and fire may prevail. Souls do not suffer death, but after death they pass from one life to another. That's what the Druids said. Do you all have Celtic origins in your history? Yes. Shamanic cultures all over the world have experienced journeying into other dimensions, right? Going somewhere else and becoming something else. And some of us here have done a lot of shamanic journeying together, and we know that to do that, we've got to deconstruct. We've got to let go of one form and be dismembered and die to that form in order to come into another form. So this ancient practice of journeying and shape-shifting, it's getting us ready. It's making us unafraid of the final big shape-shift at death. So we gather our power through doing these journeys while we're alive, going into the dream time, becoming one with spirit, learning how to follow after the mind, the originating mind that's guiding us. As mystics, we know that humans practice the presence of spirit all over this planet. But humans can get so prideful, and we can do things like say, we have the only way, or we can forget to give thanks for the presence of the divine creator and think that our ego is doing something, that like I did this. We get so possessive sometimes, don't we? Of our people, of our creations, of our jobs, of things that come about. That's a big mistake. In shamanic worlds, we call that self-importance. So in order to experience the presence of God, the true presence of God, you've got to let go of your self-importance and realize that there's a great genius and a great creativity in you, but it's flowing through you, changing you, remaking you. Think about Einstein, for example. He admitted that he would think and think and think during the day and not come to any conclusions, and then he'd go to sleep, and at night it would all come together. Edison, who invented the light bulb, admitted this too. The thing is that different people all over the world were dreaming and thinking of the light bulb around the same time that Edison was. And same for Tesla now that he's become so famous. Others around the world are all saying, well, we had that idea too, we had that. Well, that's okay. It's true. Because there are these great waves of consciousness that come because things are always on the move, like water. There's great waves of consciousness that are working creative ideas. The creator's mind is coming to ripeness in certain forms at certain times. We can trust that. Isn't that a comforting knowing? But our ego, our littleness, has been forged by time, and it has limited perceptions of knowing. And this week I was reading Wu Hui Li, a Chinese master, and I opened up to the part in the book where it said, don't you know, time is just a human thought form. Have you ever realized that? I think sometimes we look around at space around us and things around us and we realize, oh, humans made all of this. Everything, if we look at everything in this room, humans made all of this. But to realize that about time too, that humans have created time to try to deal with being here. But time is just a human thought. There are practices for practicing the presence. Practicing the presence. It's a practice that we've got to do in order to get more and more into that presence. Like I was saying at the very beginning, it's not like, oh God, come here, where are you? No. The presence is ever a presence and not an absence. So there's three things that I just suggest today that you can do to practice the presence. One is rejoice, one is remember, and one is renew. So rejoicing. The more and more completely and fully that we can embrace our wholeness and our health and our eternality and our willingness in any particular moment, that can lead to a rejoicing in our spirit, a rejoicing in the midst of the most difficult circumstances. You know, lots of times we think, oh, I'll rejoice after I get this or that. When I get this great paycheck, or when I get this new house, or when I get this great relationship, I'll rejoice then. But that's putting the metaphysical cart before the horse. Because we're supposed to rejoice our way into the miraculous. Get it? Rejoice our way into the miraculous. So rejoicing is a spiritual practice that brings about the ecstatic presence. Another thing is remembering. As we hang out in the vibratory field of rejoicing and gratitude, we move into a higher vibration, that's the vibration of remembering. Because your soul already knows who it is, like I was asking you earlier. But I'm sure that sometimes in life you have forgotten that. You've forgotten your oneness with Spirit. So when you rejoice, it leads you into remembering. You start to remember that you are in this cosmic energy field. And the remembering, though, always feels like you're coming home again. Oh, I remember this feeling of presence. It just got covered up by those previous circumstances of loss or pain or abuse. I forgot. When I was getting caught up in those feelings and thoughts, I forgot who I am. But, oh, I'm remembering now. I'm remembering that I'm in the presence. I'm home now. I can remember it now. So that's a practice of staying in the presence. And you know, in the journey to completion, we do the healing on ourselves because sometimes we get really stuck not in the presence. We get stuck in places where we've been harmed or mistreated. So if any of you are stuck in a place like that, know that you can do the trauma healing work on it and come out of that and remember. Remember who you really are. In the completion ceremonies that we do, it's so beautiful to hear people proclaiming their divine selves and the presence that they've come to remember. And the third thing is renewal. When you've rejoiced and remembered, you come into this vitalizing frequency of renewal. This begins to take place when you realize that there's something eternally new happening in every moment. The eternal is never tarnished. It's always waiting for the scales to drop from our eyes so that that which is eternal can begin to shine. And we can start to see it and feel it in our body temple. That's the resurrecting power of aliveness, of the aliveness of spirit that's really there all the time. But we have to practice the presence so we can come back into feeling it. It's grace, really, isn't it, when it comes upon us? It's not there all the time, but it's grace when it comes upon us. It can't be earned, but you can be receptive to it. Grace, it can't be earned, but you can create the inner condition of your whole soul receptivity to it. Then the total givingness of the Spirit can become the activity of your awareness. The total givingness of Spirit can become the activity of your awareness. So this practice of rejoicing, remembering, and renewing, this is the spiritual ideation within you. It's the idea of God that you practice and be receptive as often as you can. Because why? What does this practice hold for you? Eternality. It's always unfolding within you. The presence of God is infinite. The practice of the presence of God reminds you that the power of God is within you. The kingdom of God is at hand. So how can you kickstart this awareness? How can you become willing and available in any circumstance? Well, where there is willfulness, there's a wall. Where there's willingness, there's always a way. So the first thing is to let go of your willfulness. Let go of your clinging. Maybe some of you got dragged here this morning, I don't know. But you were obviously willing because you're here. So willingness always pays big dividends. Your soul is saying, oh yes, I've been waiting for you to get willing to receive this. And every single day of our lives, we have to make mental corrections, to pull back our willfulness and become willing to make room for the resurrection life within us. We have to encounter that which is real over and over again, and that's inspiration. That's what enlightenment is. I think enlightenment comes many times in life, don't you? Not just one big time. Maybe there are some really big times, but enlightenment comes over and over again. The originating thought in the mind of God comes into you, and it's so real. And you might say in moments like that, I was blind, but now I see. My vision got so myopic and narrow, I was putting you in a box of my own making. I was putting myself in a box too small for me. Now I see that I had thoughts and belief systems that had nothing to do with that which is eternal, with that which is real, with that which is really you, with that which is really me. So yes, we've got eyes and ears, but the physical attributes of these organs have spiritual consciousness. And you have a faculty within you of right seeing and right being. Just like you have physical eyes and ears, there's a faculty in you that can accomplish this right seeing and this right being. But we've got to make corrections over time to correct our mindset. Buddhism says we've got to remove the klesas from our eyes. So the practice of the presence of God has to get regularly practiced. And you will come into this vibratory frequency of a triumphant spirit. You'll come to this place where the hindrances and obstacles that have weighed you down in the past will just seem like springboards into greater expression of life. Don't you feel that way sometimes? And then tombstones turn into stepping stones. Really nothing can stop you. And you will carry that great vibratory frequency of a triumphant spirit all the way to letting go of this form and going into your next form. That's what I know for sure. Do you agree with me? Yeah. Oh, amen. Oh, well, I'd like to take us into our last beautiful song, and I think this is the one that some of you are coming up and singing. It's entitled Trees, and I think that's so appropriate for what we're talking about heaven being on earth in us, because lots of times I look at trees, don't you, and I think they've been here a lot longer than I have been. And they've got a consciousness, and I go and hug a tree and feel like I'm touching into that greater consciousness. So thank you for this song, Trees. The reminder that the nature all around us is reminding us of who we really are.
So I get to invite these wonderful people up here that I get to be friends with and sing with. And as they're getting in place, just if you could look at the beautiful picture behind most of you there of the roots of the trees. So that picture right there, I couldn't help but look at it when I was singing about the roots before. When the storm she comes, we shake like mad. That's when our roots become all we have. And this song is called Trees. It's by Lawrence Cole. And I think we're going to sing it a couple of times, and then we're going to invite you on the third time to stand and become the trees. I was reading Jamie Sam's book here, Discovery of Self Through Native Teachings. They call them, in the native ways, the standing people, they call the trees. And the givers, and they call the stone people, which I'll be on the floor here playing, the holders of energy. And I was thinking of all that trees give us. They literally take our carbon dioxide and turn it into oxygen so we can breathe. If it weren't for trees, we couldn't breathe. And we have utilized their bodies for homes and products. And so they deserve more than a song, right, for honoring. And here is a prayer of thanks before we sing it from her book. Aho, sacred tree of life, the root of every tree. Thank you for giving the gifts you give to me. Aho, standing people. From you I will learn to keep my roots well planted, yet reach for grandfather's sun. Aho, willow, tree of love, teach me to bend till I come full circle, each relation as my friend. I'm going to be a stone person. And again, after we sing it a couple times, please stand. And trees move, as Victor reminded us, he teaches Tai Chi. Trees move very, very slowly. So we've been experimenting singing with this and moving very slowly. Our arms as branches, feeling our feet as the roots. And so, yes.
Really gave a beautiful concluding feeling to it, Heather and everybody. Thank you so much. Now it's time to take our off.